Okay guys, this video is gonna be pretty freaking epic because I'm gonna rank every single top 100 crypto, excluding stable coins, when it comes to the multipliers that I can expect them at their peak in the bull run. It took me a lot of time just to download all the icons, and it's probably gonna be quite a lengthy video, so stay tuned if you want to see the entire ranking. Of course, this is not financial advice, it's only my opinions. It's okay if you have your own opinion, and it's okay if I have my own. So if you are here to get triggered, oh, XRP to the moon, $589, then this video is not for you. If you just want to hear what I think about the ranking of this crypto, then you're in the right place. So this is not going to be in any sort of ranking order other than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, which are the first three that I want to cover. All the rest is completely randomized. I've just put 3x, 5x, 10x, 20x, 30x. I didn't put or goes to 0 or 1x or whatever, but I'm just going to be relying on these tiers that I've put right here. So let's actually start. Bitcoin, what do I think about Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin is still going to have a very big run, of course, with all the ETF volume, all the new people coming into crypto. The market cap of the entire crypto market is going to be much bigger. Bitcoin dominance is potentially even going to be higher than previous bull run for the simple fact of all the ETF volume and all the new players and institutions that are going to be in the space. I do think that we're going to stay below 200K. There's people that say 250, 300. I think it's way too overhyped. Right now, we're around 60-something K. So if we go right below 200K, it will be a 3x from here. So I would say 3x or potentially a little less than that. But I think 3x just makes sense. Then Ethereum. Ethereum, in my opinion, is here to stay. It's still debatable to me if it's going to be the close number 2 at the next bull run, not this one, but the one in 2030 or whatever it is. So I actually think that it's going to still have a very good bull run. The majority of projects are still built on Ethereum, and not so much for the technology, but more for attracting investments and funding. So I think Ethereum, at least for the foreseeable future, is here to stay. A bit more risky than Bitcoin, but perhaps with more potential returns on the upside. I think it's going to be a relatively clean 5x from here. XRP, if I had a stable coin lookalike territory, I probably would put it in that category. I'm not sorry if you are an XRP maxi, because you're basically just ruining your life and putting yourself on fire for all these gains that you could actually achieve otherwise if you were to dive into altcoins or even buying Bitcoin for that matter. So I'm just going to put it in 3x because it's the lowest category today, but it would probably be something more close to a 2x. This is too centralized. There's too much allocations to insiders. There's been clear manipulation on the price with the big senior executives from the team and advisors, etc., taking profits at any single pump that they get. Look at what happened in the previous summer when we had the lawsuit being won by XRP, and basically nothing happened. It just pumped for 1 day and then it came back to normal. So it's just a project that you don't want to touch. And if you have it, I would honestly sell it off right now and allocate to other projects. But again, no financial advice. Make sure to do your own research. Ondo, this is a good project that I had called before it actually started pumping like crazy. A decent amount of the supply is owned by BlackRock. BlackRock is a big investment. They have different products when it comes to tokenization of financial products in the US, but it's not accessible to US investors, so it's a bit counterintuitive. But they also have their own stable coin, which is yield bearing, and I think the yield is actually not that bad. Good project, but the tokenomics are not that great. The vesting schedule is not looking that bright. I think a 5x from here for the simple fact that the tokenomics are quite bad and they have a massive cliff at the beginning of next year. Dog with hat. Oh my God, why am I even doing this? We live in a world in which Dog with hat has a bigger market cap than the one of Kaspa. Yeah, I know. It's still gonna pump. I'm gonna say a 10x because I still think that it's gonna pump and then it's gonna rug hard after the bull run probably, or maybe at some point during the bull run, I don't know. I think 10x, but honestly, I just would not touch it at all. Kronos, CRO, project of course, Crypto.com. I like the fact that it actually has some utility for the people that use the Crypto.com card. For instance, they're going to get cashback and they're going to get literally free money. It's not a project that I would hold other than the fact of staking it. So I don't know, in terms of the project itself, I'm going to say a 3x. I don't think that the project makes much sense other than that. Kaspa, a lot of people are waiting for this. Listen, if I put this below or the same level of dog we've had, I'm going to be extremely triggered at myself. Right now, below 15 cents. Listen, I'm going to say a 20x. I think it's still possible, especially given the big correction that it has had. especially given the recent correction that it has had in the last month or so. So I'm going to say 20x. I'm quite convinced by that. It will still be below $3. I think it's feasible, especially if we get KRC20 tokens, smart contracts, and most and foremost, tier 1 exchange listings like Binance and Coinbase. XLM, I'm still going to put it in the same category with XRP, still Ripple, and nobody cares. Floki, I mean, it's gone through a boom before. I don't think that people care that much about it, but I still see a lot of big shillers on YouTube still talk about it, the big normie channels. So I don't know, it's probably still going to pump. Dare I say a 10x, but it's quite risky. I don't know. I wouldn't touch it. At least I would go for the newer things. Maker is a project that actually pumped a lot. I'm not sure if there were any catalyst events for it, but just because it just pumped so much during this bear market, I don't think it's going to do that well. Even if it does a 3x from now for the market cap that it has, I think it would be quite impressive. So I'm going to say a 3x. Okay, noses. This is one of the weirdest charts in crypto, in my opinion. Just pumped like crazy. It went to almost zero and then pumped again. It pumped again. So I'm going to say 3x. I'm going to make the same case of Maker. EOS, if I had a category of almost going to zero, I would probably put in there. So absolutely avoid. BNB, I can make a similar case to the one of Ethereum. It's pretty much a staple. It's there to stay, at least for the foreseeable future, but I don't think it's going to be as good as it would have been otherwise if Binance hadn't had all those complications and CZ risking a lot of years in prison. So I'm going to say 5x. Decentraland is a project that it's one of the other projects that I really don't care about. It already has had its moment in the spotlight, so this is probably not its bull run. I would say 3x. Guys, you see a trend here, like all these people, big influencers with 100k plus subs will still shield this project to be like 50, 100, 1000x, but I'm just gonna keep it real with you and I'm gonna be realistic with what you can expect. And this is why I tend to favor projects that haven't gone through a bull run before, all these new altcoins that are very small in market cap because they are the new shiny things. And this is also why you should be part of my VIP group. I'm gonna discuss all the benefits and all the nitty-gritty at the end of this video, so stick around if you're interested in joining and finding out more. I mean, Tezos is another project that has been around for a while. I think it's still below IDO price or something, so 3x. Qcoin token. I am not a fan of exchange tokens because for the majority of cases, they are quite useless and irrelevant other than saving yourself some money when it comes to trading fees. Qcoin is one of the top exchanges in the world, but it also has got some FUD. So I could have even said a 10x, because, you know, Qcoin is one of the most widely used exchanges, but with all the complication that it has had, I'm gonna say 5x. Litecoin, can't believe that people still care about this project. Torn apart 3 and 5x, but I'm gonna say 3x. Theta is another one that, if you look at the chart, it looks absolutely awful. It's gone through a massive peak and it's got a massive crash. So I don't think this is going to recover. I don't think it's going to surpass the previous all-time high, and because of that, I'm going to say 3x. Same for Multiverse. This is getting boring. I want some exciting projects in the top 100. Fetch is okay. Fetch is actually a good project. Project is really big. It has pumped a lot. I think the market cap is around 2 billion or something like that. Listen, if we actually have this big cycle, and despite the fact that it pumped so much, it still performs well. It's also shielded by big influencers. I'm going to say a 5x, but it's quite risky because of the fact that it pumps so much and the chart looks as it does. Now, Bitcoin SV, nobody cares. 3x. I would honestly put this goes to zero, and I'm gonna put the same for Bitcoin Cash. These are just inferior forms of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the OG. All this nobody cares about, so I'm just gonna put it in the lowest tier. Atom or Cosmos, I'm gonna say 5x. I'm still, you know, the tech is actually good, but how many good things are actually built on it? I'm gonna say a 5. Could as well be a 3 or less, but let's just put it there for the sake of this video. Nervous pumped a lot. Maybe 3x, boring. Render, oh, finally something decent. Listen, the market cap, it is what it is. It's quite big, but I still think that this is going to do very, very well. I'm going to say 10x. It's still a bit risky, but not as risky as other. Honestly, it's less risky than most of the projects that you see in the 3x category. So I'm going to say a 10x. Chili's, I can't say that I've researched this project that much ever, but chart looks like shit. 3x. I mean, Sandbox is, just look at the chart of Sandbox and tell me if you believe otherwise. I think 3x. Avalanche, finally a decent large cap, which I still arguably would consider a blue chip for the current bull run. I think that it's actually a very solid choice. I'm very excited for all the gaming projects that are being built on Avalanche, including like Shrapnel, Bloodloop, etc., etc. I think that Avalanche is gonna do a 10x, or at least it's gonna get close to it. Gala, people still care about Gala? I honestly don't. I don't want to say that it's gonna do a 10x. It's so freaking down from all-time high. It's potentially gonna pump because there's still some fanboys of Gala. I'm gonna say 5 because I don't want to put it in the worst category, but I wouldn't be as optimistic as to say 10x. HBA, very weird project. It's very centralized. There's massive corporations behind it, but as a result, the project is just too centralized. I can make the same case of something like XRP. Perhaps this project even more. You guys probably know when there was the news of the tokenization of assets in the real world by BlackRock, it started pumping and then they denied it. Some people are saying that this is actually BS. I don't know. I'm gonna say a 10x. I just wouldn't hold this project myself. Akash actually is performing extremely well, but the market cap is just very big. So I wouldn't say that it's going to do a 10x or so. I would say 5x just because it pumped so much. Uniswap, this is a very interesting take right now because, in my opinion, DEX adoption is going to become greater and greater when it comes to this bull run because of even Maxi abandoning, the non-KYC approach and crypto becoming more and more regulated. I think that DEXs are going to ramp up even more in volume, and also Uniswap have recently introduced the limit function, so the project is actually going to get more and more tractions. Although I don't believe that this token is that interesting, but I love Uniswap as a platform, of course. So I can say 10x. Axie Infinity, this was one of the best gaming projects in the previous bull run when it comes to multiplier. If you guys weren't around the previous bull run, it also started into the 2021 bull run as well. So you guys, this is also why I say, oh, listen, some of the best projects are still not around at the time of me shooting this video. So I'm very conscious of it, but this project is just not good at this point. It's not going to recover to the previous highs. I'm going to say 5x, but I just would not hold it at all. Jasmine, I don't even want to bother with Jasmine, the Japanese Bitcoin. I don't even want to discuss it. I made a video on Jasmine why I hate it, so check it out if you're so keen, but it sits in the bottom of the list. Lido, this is a useless token. I'm not interested. I think that this is still below the price of the IDO. No. BigGet token, I can make the same example of KuCoin, although BigGet is not as popular as KuCoin is. But I also love the exchange itself because it actually has partnerships with Messi and with a lot of other influencers, etc. The exchange itself is good. I've used it plenty of times in the past, and this saves you trading fees. BigGet is probably going to be one of the top exchanges anyway. BigGet is growing in terms of reputation. They also have proof of reserves. So it's actually a good exchange. I would recommend you guys if you can use it in your country. So I'm going to say 5x. Pendle is a freaking great project when it comes to deep end. It just pumped so much. So I would have said more, but I'm just going to say 10x just because it just pumped so freaking much and the chart looks parabolic. The RDX, I even forgot that this project existed. I haven't really researched it that much, but the chart just looks what it is. I think they're rebranding or something like that. So yeah, bottom of the list. Optimism, this is the worst scaling solution for Ethereum. I still think it's arguably gonna pump a little, at least, I don't know, 5x. The BitTorrent token, why would somebody buy this? Bottom of the barrel. Sui, I'm actually debating between a 10 and a 20x. Listen, I'm gonna say a 20x just because I really like the ecosystem and I think that a lot of good things are gonna come to the ecosystem. I think AWT is probably gonna be present on this ecosystem as well. It's very centralized, so the tokenomics are actually not that great, but the project itself is promising, and I would expect at least decent things out of it. Phantom, another lower tier project. BitTensor Tau, finally good projects. Listen, it just pumped so much and it's quite big in market cap. However, I do believe it's still freaking great. I'm gonna say 10x because I don't think it's just too big to do a 20x for the project that it is, and it's still considered a bit niche for a lot of people. It's already listed on Binance, so 10x would actually be quite good for it. Celestia is one of the trending things. However, the tokenomics are so bad. I think they're still gonna do massive airdrops in the future. So I wouldn't say more than a 10x. Pepe, listen, it still hasn't gone through a bull run. It still is not on Coinbase. It's a gamble. I want to put it above the 10x category, but the community is actually big and it's arguable that it could do a 20x. To me, it's just this big of a risk. I don't need to take this risk because I'm not building a degen portfolio, so I honestly, quite frankly, don't care. But it wouldn't be out of the equation. Maybe it's gonna happen, maybe not, but I'm just gonna put it there and leave it there. Ordi, honestly, I'm just gonna put it in the lowest tier because I just think it was a fad and I don't think it's gonna do that well. Core, this is a project that nobody talks about ever. I don't know, chart doesn't even look that bad. I don't wanna put it in the lowest tier. Perhaps a 5x could be alright. Mantle is another project that it's a bit low-key. Not so many people are talking about it. It's quite decentralized. Tokenomics are not that great. But it's still a scaling solution for Ethereum, and as a result, I do think that they're gonna pump. I would say a 10x is quite realistic. PEEF, projects that I really don't give a damn about. I'm just gonna say 5x because I don't wanna put it in the lowest tier. Torchain, this is an interesting case because there's a big community behind it. They're actually building a lot. Even though it's gone through a bull run before, I do make the case that this is going to go to new highs. It's quite risky and I wouldn't make it as part of my portfolio, but I think that a 20x is quite feasible. Okay, Jupiter, call me crazy, but I think it's the only project that I've seen so far that could be arguably a 30x from here. So I know that this is the very most bullish scenario, but hear me out. Jupiter is the best DEX aggregator when it comes to Solana. The Solana ecosystem is becoming huge and has become huge. A lot of liquidity is there for the meme coin craze with Solana. What do you guys think when the US elections come around and all these people just throw money and money and money on all these weird and stupid projects regarding Trump or other politicians? I think that the volume is going to skyrocket. Same for the peak of the bull, and it's probably going to be one of the good signals that you actually need to get out of it. The project is building a lot. They have the LFG launchpad. They're launching a bunch of interesting projects. The community is so freaking good, actually. It's one of the, in my opinion, best communities in crypto right now. Honestly, call me crazy. A lot of people are going to disagree with this. I honestly don't care. So yeah, I'm just going to put it there. I think that realistically, it's going to be a minimum 15 to 20x for how things are looking from here. So yeah, a project that gets not really talked about that much, but the community is there and strong. The volume is great, and the volume of the exchange and the numbers of the exchanges recording speak for themselves, in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it there, and if you guys criticize this, I just quite frankly don't care. Okay, Beam is one of the major gaming ecosystem that hasn't gone through a bull run before. It's potentially gonna do extremely well. I have no doubt of wanting to put Beam right now among the top, so I would say 10x just because the market cap is so damn big, so I wouldn't expect much more than that. Doge, probably gonna do well. I would say a 10x because Elon Musk is potential. But the fact with Doge is that you're just depending in the hands of Elon Musk, really, and I just don't want to be that kind of guy that just waits for Elon Musk to put a tweet to actually see what Dogecoin is gonna do. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it there, but I wouldn't touch it myself. Arbitrum, in my opinion, one of the worst tokenomics for one of the best scaling solutions for Ethereum. Community is there. I don't think it's one of the strongest in crypto. I still think it's going to do arguably well because it hasn't gone through a bull run before, but I wouldn't say much more than 10x. Near Protocol, I'm not that much of a fan of this. I just haven't seen very good stuff built on it. Maybe you guys will disagree, but I just can't find anything that I like built on it. So I'm going to put 5x on Near. Starknet, can't care less about this. Same for the Gate token. Who cares? Ethena, at the end of the day, is 1 billion or something on market cap. It just launched. It's very centralized, but big VC investing into there. Probably deserves a 20x tier. Filecoin, whatever. VeChain, another old project that I absolutely don't care. Injective, very good question. What do I see for Injective? Injective has been one of the best performers in the bear market, and I have no reasons to believe that it's going to be any different in this upcoming bull market. So I'm going to put it in the 20x category. I think it just makes sense. Mina, just nobody cares. Another project that launched in a bull market and then it didn't even surpass all-time highs. This is not going to be any different. Arweave, maybe 5x, and I can say the same, honestly, of Algorand and Quant. These are Projects that are old and I'm not that interested in, but they're probably going to do relatively well. They're not like terrible projects. It's just that they're old and I want to focus on the newer things. Neo is a project that every bull run that it has, it just performs worse and worse. It's been around for ages. Like, honestly, who cares about this? Conflux is another project that is just completely irrelevant. It has gone through a bull run before, and even at the peak, like, nobody was talking about this. It's definitely not going to go back to the highs. Ronin is arguable, project that I can't say I've researched extensively. For what I've seen and for the market cap is, I think that a 5x is realistic. Chainlink is interesting because the project is freaking big. It's there to stay. I want to take a bet and be relatively optimistic and say 10x because I think it just makes sense, but it's perhaps on the most optimistic side. eCash is another project that goes to 0. Epic fail. I've just realized that I've confused the tokens of Multiverse and Synthetics, but they're crap, so who cares? It would have been in the same spot. Cardano. Let's see if I get a lot of haters out of saying this. Listen, it was one of my top holdings in the previous bull run. I actually make decent money out of it. It's just something that I wouldn't touch right now. It's too big in market cap, it's too down. You could argue that it could pump realistically, but the majority of people that are talking about Cardano these days are just looking for their followers to be their exit liquidity. So I can't say that I'm interested in this project at all at this point. I'm gonna say a 10x because I also know that it's probably gonna outperform Ethereum, but it's just a riskier play than what Ethereum is. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Listen, Polygon, Matic still stands as the top scaling solution for Ethereum. That is probably not going to change. Ethereum is still going to be here. I don't want to be as optimistic as to say a 20x because it's already gone through a bull run. So I'm going to say a 10x, but could potentially be even a 15x. I mean, Immutable is the GOAT right now when it comes to game ecosystem. There's very little to say about that. I'm torn apart at 10 to 20x, but I want to be relatively conservative, so I'm going to say only 10x. Monero, future is not looking bright for Monero just because it's a privacy coin. There's going to be more and more regulations and more things that are going to dethrone this project objectively. So I honestly want to say 3x. I don't see it surpassing all-time highs. It's also got delisted on Binance, if you guys didn't know. It just doesn't make sense in an investment. Say is a great project. I don't want to put it above Caspa, to be honest, even if the market cap is smaller. Because of the vesting, it has a massive cliff, I think in Q2 next year. So I don't know. Until then, it's probably going to be very good and sunshine and rainbows. But after that, it's probably going to crash. So I'm going to say 20x is realistic. Could be even a little less than that, to be honest. Flare, I don't care. Polkadot, another project that I don't care. I just don't care. Shiba, I'm just going to put in next to Doge because they have diehard communities, as you guys are pretty much aware. Solana, of course, I love Solana. Best ecosystem right now to build anything, really. It's been heavily outperforming all other large caps. I think it's still going to be the case during the bull market. It's going to outperform Ethereum at least. So because of it, I'm going to put it one tier above Ethereum. Maybe it's not going to be a 10x, but even if Solana gets a 7x from here, considering the gains that it has already done in the bear market, it's a freaking great achievement for Solana. I'm going to put it above these crappy coins because I actually like Solana. Singularity Net, one of the OGs in the AI space, I feel, and I think that there's still a lot of potential for the upside. I think it definitely deserves to be in the 10x category. ICP, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for ICP as always. Listen, it's just that the project is so centralized. I don't foresee ICP to do this well. It already has done a 3x in the bear market. I think that a 5x is quite realistic. I don't think it's going to do much more than that. It's probably going to go to $100 or at least close to $100. It's around a 5 to 7x from here, so I'm going to say 5x, potentially a little more than that. But to do a 10x, it would be 140 right now, $150 is way too much. Stacks is probably, okay, I'm going to put it in the top tier. I think it could do a 30x. It's not my favorite scaling solution for Bitcoin, but I want to say that if min layer ends up doing a 50 to a 70x, I do believe that it's realistic that Stacks is going to be a 30x because they're building a good ecosystem. They have a good community. Ton, I think that this project honestly, guys, I think that this project is going to be fucking huge, but it's still a risk. But with more and more privacy and centralization and the user base, I think it's 900 million users that Telegram has. And the fact that this has obvious links to Telegram, I think that this could be in the 30x category. People are gonna hate me for this. I honestly don't care. It's just my thoughts. Of course, I would much rather take a safer 20x than a very risky 30x. And I'm the first one that, honestly, the best project to invest in the top 100 today is Kaspa. That is not debatable. But I also believe that those projects could do more than Kaspa in the long term, given the backing that they have, the user base, and the adoption, and the fact that these are actually projects that they're building a lot already. Kaspa is all a lot of promises until it gets listed to tier 1 exchanges, okay? So I think that this just makes sense to me. Boring Ape, who cares? OKB, I'm not a fan of OKX as an exchange in general. These three, especially Ethereum Classic, honestly, no cares. Honestly, I can't believe the flow still sits in the top 100. This is absolutely going to zero at some point. Tron, I would still put it here. And Bonk, you will be surprised, but I think that Bonk could do a 30x. Just because of the entire narrative of the Solana ecosystem, I'm seeing that they're doing a lot of marketing events here in Dubai especially, and they're probably gonna do very, very heavy marketing in the future. I don't think it's far-fetched to say they're gonna do a 30x from here, especially given the crazy bear market that they've run. If they're able to just replicate this in the bull market, I don't see it out of the question that they're gonna do a 30x. It's still very risky, and again, out of all of this, probably I would only invest into Kaspa if I was looking for gains, Jupiter, Sei, perhaps even Sui, and Solana. These would be my top, gainers, my top risk to reward ratio, because of course, this could have a bigger reward, but they're also way, way, way more risky than the majority of the projects that you see here. So I hope that you guys were able to, take a lot of value out of this. It took me a long way to go through all this list, so I would really appreciate so much if you can like, comment on this video, share it with your friends or whatever, and help my channel grow. It will really mean a lot to me. And of course, I'm going to remind you on my private group. This is the best community in crypto right now, and I'm honestly not exaggerating when saying this, because you guys are saying it yourself. All the benefits are listed right here: buy and sell alerts, private live stream, portfolio reviews, a bunch of exclusive content and TA, and private Discord access with direct contact with me. So you might have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create generational wealth. Don't mess it up and join me in my quest to financial freedom. So I hope to see you there and help you out with your crypto investing journey. And until then, take care for now.